So, what happens when you feed the teachings of a modern spiritual master to an advanced AI? You get something pretty incredible. Today, we're going to dive into a philosophy that completely reframes our relationship with knowledge, with wisdom, and even with truth itself, especially now, in the age of AI. This is going to be fascinating.
And this is what you get back. When researchers did exactly that, the AI came up with this remarkably deep summary of Hongik Ingan's teachings. I mean, look at those words: practical, integrates, social practice. The AI immediately picked up that this isn't just some abstract idea, it's meant to be lived. And we're going to use this as our jumping off point.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the AI's verdict, because it's just too interesting to ignore. Then we'll get into the core idea of an evolving truth. From there, we'll see why the long, hard search for truth is supposedly over and what the real difference is between knowledge and truth. And finally, we'll tie it all together with the path to wisdom.
Right, so let's get into it. The first big piece of the puzzle is that initial analysis from the AI. When it chewed on all of Hongik Ingan's lectures, its findings really highlighted just how different this worldview is from, well, pretty much everything else.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The AI points out some huge differences. It says, hey, this isn't like the Buddhist path, and it's definitely not like the Western idea of a single, capital T, truth that never changes. Get this. Enlightenment is defined here as knowing one's own contradictions. And even wilder, the spiritual practice called suheng. It doesn't lead to enlightenment. It actually starts after you're already there. It's no wonder the AI praised these teachings for offering real, concrete solutions for today's world.
And that brings us to maybe the biggest, most fundamental concept of all, the one that really sets these teachings apart, the very nature of truth itself.
At first glance, the definition seems simple enough, right? In these teachings, truth, or jinli in Korean, is just the fundamental law of nature. You can think of it as the universe's operating system. But here is the massive twist. This law isn't static. It's not some ancient thing we have to rediscover. No, the teaching here is that truth is a living, breathing principle that literally evolves as humanity progresses. As we develop, as we grow, so does the truth.
And this is not a metaphor. It gets incredibly specific. The teaching states that when humanity's collective progress grows by just 0.01%, the fundamental law of nature, truth itself, also evolves by 0.01%. The takeaway here is huge. Truth isn't something you find in the past. It's being generated right now, in our time.
So, if truth is constantly changing and growing, that leads to a really powerful and, pretty controversial conclusion. What does that mean for that age-old spiritual quest, the search for truth? Well, according to Hongik Ingan, the search is over. It's done. That whole era of people going on these long solo journeys to find some hidden truth, that time has passed. The logic follows that since truth has evolved to its highest point right now, those old methods just aren't needed anymore.
So what's the new model? It's laid out right here in this quote. A new time has come where one person who has already found the most current, most evolved truth simply presents it to the world. And in this philosophy, that person is Hongik Ingan. His role is to basically deliver this truth so that everyone else can just use it to live better, more correct lives.
This brings us to a super important distinction, especially for us living in this crazy, information-overloaded world. And that's the difference between knowledge and truth.
I mean, think about it. This question really gets to the heart of our modern dilemma. We have AI that can give us pretty much all of humanity's accumulated information in seconds. But does having all that data make something wise? This philosophy draws a very, very sharp line in the sand. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have knowledge, or jishik. Its source, AI. Its job, to give you data. It's a tool you consult, and the outcome is intelligence. But on the other side, you have truth, jinli. Its source is the human teacher. Its job is to give you principles for how to live correctly. It's a teaching you receive, and the outcome isn't just intelligence, it's wisdom.
So the idea is pretty clear. Think of AI as the ultimate perfect library. It has all the knowledge. You should absolutely go to it for any information you need. But, and this is key, it cannot generate truth. That's a different domain. According to the source, even the AI itself recognized this, basically flagging these teachings as something unique, something that belongs in the human realm of truth.
Okay, so this brings us to our final section. What's the end game? How do you actually use these two things, knowledge and truth to get to a higher state of being. The final goal here is wisdom, or jihai. And this isn't some passive, navel-gazing kind of wisdom. No, it's defined as an essential, practical quality that you need to actually lead society, to guide humanity forward. It's all about taking correct and effective action in the real world.
And the path to get there is presented as this really clear three-step process. It's almost like a formula. Step 1, gather knowledge. Use AI for that. It's the ultimate source. Step 2, receive truth. Learn the principles for living correctly from the teacher. And step 3, unlock wisdom. You combine that knowledge with that truth, and that's what equips you to lead and to make the right decisions.
And what's really important here is that this isn't supposed to be some obscure, complicated thing that only a few people can get. As Chunggang Susungnim says, the whole point is to make these ideas understandable for you, right where you are. It's about meeting people at their own level so they can actually use this stuff in their lives.
So, we're left with a really big question to chew on. In a world where AI can give us all the knowledge we could ever dream of, this philosophy says we still need a human source for truth. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Where do we get our own principles for living? In this age of infinite information, what defines your truth?